Hey, it's Resident Lynx. Yeah, I know. It's been a while. And by a while, I mean long enough that you probably assumed I either A, quit YouTube, got lost in a cave, or C, missed one jump in Tomb Raider and just never recovered emotionally. Honestly, it was a mix of all three. But I'm back. And today, we're talking about a game that didn't just define a generation, it tested it. A game that asked the question, what if exploration, but also suffering? Let's rewind to 1996. 3D gaming was still in its, we have no idea what we're doing, but we're doing it confidently phase. Developers were experimenting with cameras, controls, movement, sometimes all three at once, poorly. Then along came Tomb Raider, developed by Core Design and published by Eidos Interactive. And somehow, against all odds, it worked. Not perfectly, not smoothly, but memorably. You play as Lara Croft. Today, she's one of the most iconic characters in gaming. But back then, she was built out of like 12 triangles of pure attitude. And yet, she carried this entire game. No constant voice lines, no emotional cutscenes every 5 minutes. Just quiet confidence. Dual pistols. The energy of someone who absolutely should not be left unsupervised in ancient ruins. Tomb Raider is quiet. Not just turn the volume down quiet. I mean, uncomfortably quiet. You're walking through these massive, empty spaces, and it feels like the game is just watching you. Like, go ahead, figure it out. There are no objective markers, no glowing arrows, no helpful NPC saying, hey Lara, maybe try that suspiciously obvious door? It's just you, your brain, and a growing suspicion that you've been going in circles for the last 20 minutes. At some point, every Tomb Raider player has that moment where they stop and think, have I already been here? And the answer is always yes. Several times. Because this game loves puzzles. You pull a lever, something opens. Where? No idea. Could be behind you, across the map, on another floor, in a room you didn't even know existed yet. And now your job is to figure out what changed. Which sounds fun. Until you realize you have to re-explore the entire level like a detective with zero clues. Movement in Tomb Raider is deliberate. Every jump is calculated. Every step matters. This isn't a game where you just run and jump. This is a game where you stop. Line up your angle. Take exactly one step back. Think about your life choices. Then jump. And if you're off by even a little, congratulations. You're falling into a pit. Again. Okay, running joke expansion. I'm not saying I fell a lot, but if Lara had health insurance, the premiums would be insane. Combat exists. Technically. You've got guns, you've got enemies, but most of the time, you're just trying to solve a puzzle. And suddenly a wolf shows up, like, hey. And you're like, no, not now, I'm thinking. And the bats? The bats don't even feel like enemies. They feel like the game saying, just in case you were getting comfortable, don't. And then, the game decides you've had enough peace, so it throws a T-Rex at you. No warning, no build-up, just immediate chaos. And you, running in circles, trying to process what's happening. Like, this isn't even a dinosaur game? But here's the thing. Under all the frustration, all the confusion, all the falling, there's something incredible here. The level design. These environments feel massive. Not just big, but thoughtfully big. You're climbing up towers, dropping down into hidden rooms, unlocking paths that loop back in on themselves. It's like every level is a giant puzzle box. Tomb Raider worked because it trusted the player. Sometimes too much. But still, it didn't spoon-feed you. It didn't rush you. It just said, here's the world. Go explore it. And that feeling is something a lot of modern games struggle to capture. And hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, especially since I apparently disappear for months at a time. I'm working on that. No promises, but I'm working on it. Tomb Raider isn't just a game you play. It's a game you learn. Sometimes the hard way. Sometimes the very, very frustrating way. But once it clicks, there's nothing quite like it. Let's really talk about the controls. Because this is where Tomb Raider either clicks for you or completely destroys your confidence as a human being. Movement is tank-based, which means Lara doesn't turn like a normal person. She rotates like a very determined refrigerator. You ever try to turn around quickly in this game? You can't. You have to commit to the turn. This is not a react in the moment kind of game. This is a plan your entire movement like you're solving a math problem kind of game. But here's the thing. At some point, it clicks. You start to understand how far Lara can jump, how many steps equal the perfect distance, when to grab a ledge, when to just accept defeat and fall dramatically. And once that happens, the game transforms. Platforming is the heart of Tomb Raider. Everything revolves around jumping, climbing, positioning, and again, precision is everything. There's no close enough. There's only, you made it, or you are now at the bottom of a pit reflecting on your decisions. And look, we've all been there. You line up the jump perfectly, you press the button, and somehow it still goes wrong. At that point, it's not even your fault. That's between Lara and gravity. One of the most interesting things about Tomb Raider is how it forces you to remember. There's no map, no waypoint, no checklist. So you start building a mental map of the level. You remember where that locked door was, where you saw that unreachable ledge, where you definitely fell earlier and don't want to go back to. Playing this game turns your brain into storage tomb layouts only. Everything else? Gone. Let's revisit combat for a second. Because while it's simple, it does have its moments. Lara can jump while shooting, flip around enemies, lock onto targets automatically, which means combat becomes less about aiming and more about movement. Or, if you're me, it becomes jump in every direction and hope something works. Enemies in Tomb Raider aren't super complex, but they don't need to be, because their real purpose is interrupting you at the worst possible moment. You're solving a puzzle, you're thinking, you're focused, and then suddenly, a wolf. Just a wolf. And the bats are still here. They're always here. They never leave. They are the true final boss. Let's be honest. Death is a core mechanic in Tomb Raider. You will fall, get crushed, miss jumps, misjudge distances, question your life choices. And the game is just like, yeah, that's part of it. The way Laura falls, too, it's not subtle. It's dramatic. It's theatrical. It's like she's performing for an audience that isn't there. When Tomb Raider released in 1996, it didn't just do well. It exploded. This wasn't just a successful game, it was a cultural moment. And a huge part of that was Lara Croft. Lara Croft became something gaming hadn't really seen before. A true icon. Not just within games, but outside of them. She was on magazine covers, in commercials, recognized by people who didn't even play games. And whether you were there at the time or not, it's hard to overstate how big that was. But Tomb Raider didn't just create a character, it created a formula. Exploration-driven gameplay, environmental puzzles, cinematic presentation. You can see its influence everywhere, especially in games like Uncharted. That mix of action, traversal, and storytelling, Tomb Raider laid the groundwork. What really set Tomb Raider apart was its confidence. It didn't feel the need to constantly entertain you. It didn't throw action at you every 5 seconds. It gave you space. Time to think. Time to explore. Time to get completely lost and question everything. And yes, sometimes that space turned into, where am I? Why am I here? Is this the same room? But still, it trusted you. Playing Tomb Raider today feels very different. Modern games are built around accessibility. They guide you. They help you. They make sure you're always moving forward. Tomb Raider? It just watches. There's no hint system, no helpful reminder, no pop-up saying, hey, maybe you missed something? The game just lets you struggle. Respectfully.
So, let's answer the question. Does it still hold up? The honest answer? It depends. If you're willing to be patient, learn the controls, embrace the slower pace, there's a lot to love here. The level design is still impressive. The atmosphere still works. And the sense of accomplishment still hits. But if you're used to modern games, this might feel rough. The controls are stiff, the pacing is slow, and the lack of guidance can be frustrating. But that's kind of the point. Tomb Raider isn't trying to be modern. It's a product of its time, and one of the best examples of it. Tomb Raider matters because it represents something we don't see as often anymore. A game that's willing to be quiet. A game that's willing to let you fail. A game that trusts you to figure things out. It's not always comfortable. It's not always fun. But it's memorable. Everyone who plays Tomb Raider has that moment. The jump you couldn't make, the puzzle you couldn't solve, the place you got stuck for way too long. And then you figure it out. And suddenly, everything clicks, and you feel like a genius. Even though, realistically, you just missed a ladder. But still, it counts. Tomb Raider isn't perfect. It's clunky, it's unforgiving, and sometimes it's just plain mean. But it's also creative, ambitious, and unforgettable. For me, this game is more than just a classic. It's a reminder of a different time in gaming. A time when figuring things out was part of the experience, even if it meant falling into the same pit over and over again. And hey, if you made it all the way through this retrospective, seriously, thank you.
And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stick around for more. I'm back now, uploading again, probably more consistently this time. And let me know in the comments, what's your Tomb Raider story? The moment that stuck with you, the jump that broke you, or the exact second you realized this game does not care about me?